I was leading a quarterly meeting in the main boardroom of Grayson Holdings, a space built to impress. Glass walls, leather chairs, panoramic skyline view. I'd spent the better part of an hour walking through our second quarter performance, fielding questions, maintaining the usual rhythm. Numbers were strong. Expansion looked promising. Investors were content. It began on a Thursday afternoon, the kind that usually drifts by unnoticed, swallowed by routine. But not this one. This Thursday branded itself into my memory with the subtlety of a branding iron. Then my phone buzzed in my pocket. I ignored it. My time was worth more than most of the world's emergencies. It buzzed again. And again. The third buzz was paired with a sharp vibration that made my fingers twitch. I gave a subtle glance. 3 missed calls from Willowridge Academy. My son's school. That alone made the room disappear. I stepped out with a nod to my CFO. He knew better than to ask. Out in the hall, I called back. It rang once before picking up. Mr. Grayson, thank you for returning our call. It was Principal Kelly. Calm voice, but too calm. That kind of calm only shows up to cover something worse. There was an incident involving Cole. Your son got into a physical altercation with another student. My jaw tightened. Is he all right? No serious injuries. But we need you to come in. Now. No hesitation. I'm on my way. I was already heading toward the elevators. Traffic was mercifully light. I made the 20-minute drive in 10, ignoring stop signs and speed limits, red lights and courtesy. The moment I pulled into the lot, I could see staff through the glass entry. The secretary spotted me and opened the door. He's with Principal Kelly. This way, sir. Her tone was soft, almost pitying. I stepped into the office to find Cole sitting with his arms crossed, eyes locked on the carpet. His lip was swollen. A thin smear of dried blood marked his chin. He didn't look up. Kelly was seated across from him. The other student instigated it, she explained. There was name-calling. Cole retaliated physically. What did the other kid say? I asked. She hesitated. It was about your wife. I'd rather not repeat it. I looked at Cole. Is that true? His head bobbed. Barely. My heart ached, but I didn't let it show. Okay. I'll handle it. We left the building and made our way to the car. Cole stayed silent. He wasn't one to talk unless it mattered. I respected that. But just as we reached the car, I heard the unmistakable purr of a luxury engine. The Escalade. My Escalade. It pulled into the staff lot and stopped just across from us. I frowned. It was 2:15 p.m. Sabrina wasn't due anywhere near the school. She'd said she had a massage appointment at 3 and a wine tasting with Mindy after that. The back door opened. Sabrina stepped out. Her hair was down, but not styled. Windblown. Her lipstick smeared slightly. Her blouse misaligned by one button. One heel dangled from her hand, the other still on her foot. Mason, our driver, exited from the front. He wore the same black polo he always did, but this time it looked rumpled. His collar was bent. His eyes flicked toward me, then quickly away. He didn't say a word. Sabrina laughed at something, tossed her hair back. Then she saw us. Her whole face changed. Oh, Damon, she said, moving fast, too fast. I just got your message. I came as soon as I heard. Cole didn't look at her. She glanced between us and then slipped her heel back on awkwardly, as if she were performing normalcy. You got here quick, I said evenly. She smiled, but her eyes jittered. No traffic. Mason found a shortcut. Mason remained planted, eyes downward. Cole opened the car door, got in, and slammed it shut. At home, Sabrina acted like it never happened. She made tea, asked how the meeting went, even put on music while she sliced strawberries in the kitchen like she was auditioning for a food blog. I watched her. I asked no questions. But the feeling in my chest, the heavy, creeping dread, never eased. That night, when she slipped off her heels and placed her feet in my lap like she had 1,000 times before, I didn't reach for the lotion. I didn't trace the arch of her foot. I just stared. She smiled up at me, confused. You okay? I nodded. Tired. She yawned. Me too. You wouldn't believe the day I've had. At 1:45 a.m., I was in the garage. The Escalade was parked as always. I climbed in the back seat, pulled the camera system's memory card, and slid it into a reader on my laptop. There was nothing suspicious in the clips from the morning. But between 12:14 and 1:43 p.m., the feed went black. Camera disabled. The GPS log, however, told a different story. Parked in a quiet lot off Monroe Boulevard for 78 minutes. No shops there. Just storage units and an abandoned art supply warehouse. I downloaded the full GPS track. Then I started digging. Receipts. Card transactions. Call logs. Everything. Over the next 3 days, I didn't confront her. I watched. I noted every time she said she was going to the gym, but came back with no sweat and a fresh blowout. Every time she said she was with Mindy, but Mindy hadn't posted in 48 hours. Every detail. Logged. Compiled. At dinner, she poured wine, said we should plan a trip. Maybe Paris. Just us. Like old times. I smiled. That sounds perfect. Her eyes gleamed. She had no idea. The next morning, I called in a favor from a private investigator I once used during a corporate sabotage case. His name was Bennett. Clean, efficient, silent. I need everything you can get on Mason, I told him. And on Sabrina. Phones, texts, photos, whatever's legal. Discreetly? He asked. Ruthlessly. He didn't ask another question. 2 days later, I had my answer. Photos. Mason and Sabrina at a hotel on 8th. Walking in, 2 hours apart. Leaving, 30 minutes together. Her hair different. Her face bare. No ring on her hand. Surveillance footage confirmed it. They'd been there more than once. Twice a week. Every week. I sat in my office, staring at the file. The file I would hand to my lawyers. The file I'd copied to a flash drive labeled Plan B. And I realized something. She didn't just cheat. She gambled that I wouldn't find out. She lost. By the end of the week, I'd gathered enough evidence to start a war. But I didn't want war. I wanted exposure. I wanted her mask to fall off in public in a way she couldn't recover from. So I waited. Carefully. Calculated. I watched her pack for her yoga retreat. Lemon water bottle, silk leggings, monogram towel. Watched her leave that morning in the Escalade, Mason at the wheel. I kissed her cheek as she passed me in the doorway, pretending I didn't know. You okay? She'd asked. Yeah. Early meetings today. She smiled and left without looking back. What she didn't know was that my meetings were done by noon. And I had plans of my own. I called the school. Told them I'd pick Cole up early. Just want to grab lunch with him, I said. Spend a little father-son time. Principal Kelly agreed. He'll be glad to see you. She had no idea how right she was. I pulled up around the side lot, away from the other parents, just as lunch period was ending. I parked in a reserved space and walked toward the admin wing. Kids were still trickling back into class. Some smiled at me, recognized me from career day. I nodded politely. As I reached the office, I saw Cole through the front glass. He looked up and lit up immediately. Dad? Hey, buddy, I said. Want to get out of here early? Hit the burger place? He didn't even hesitate. While he grabbed his backpack, Principal Kelly came around the corner. He's been quiet this week. Focused. Whatever you're doing at home, it's working. I smiled politely. I'm just being honest with him, I said. We got the food to go. Ate in the Lexus SUV, windows down. Just like old times. Then, as I was about to pull away, Cole pointed toward the gym. That's weird, he said. Isn't that Mom's scarf? I looked where he was pointing. A silk scarf, navy blue with gold trim, draped over the rear passenger headrest of a blacked-out Escalade, parked on the far end of the lot, near the unused access ramp. No other cars nearby. Stay here, I told Cole. Why? I'll be right back. I got out, walked slowly, purposefully. As I neared the car, I could hear movement. Then the sound I never wanted to hear. Her voice. Laughing. Panting. Shoo, someone might see ya. Then Mason's voice. No one's around, babe. You said he's in a meeting till 5. I reached the rear door, grabbed the handle, and yanked it open. The whole world paused. Sabrina was half naked, straddling Mason. Her lipstick smeared across her cheek. His pants were around his ankles. Her blouse hung off one arm like a torn curtain. They both screamed. Mason tried to scramble away, but his leg got caught in the seatbelt. Sabrina gasped. Damon, wait. I didn't wait. I didn't listen. I roared. You brought this to his school? I shouted, loud enough to shake the trees. Students turned. Teachers near the cafeteria doors froze. I pointed at Mason. You piece of garbage. This is where you do it? This is where you sneak around with my wife. Someone ran to get Principal Kelly. Sabrina was trying to cover herself, but it was too late. People had phones out, snapping photos, videos, recording every second. She cried, reached out. Please, don't. I turned to her and said, clear as day, you are nothing but a cheap headline waiting to happen. And then I walked away. Cole was out of the car, staring. I picked him up, held him, and I didn't cry. But I wanted to. That night, it started. First, the school newsletter leaked it. Then the local gossip blogs picked it up. And by morning, my phone exploded. Millionaire CEO's wife caught in school parking lot love nest. Wealthy investor's family torn apart in front of staff and students. Tycoon betrayed, the doll wife and the driver. There were pictures. Blurry, but clear enough. You could see her face. His body. My rage. The whole world saw. And I made no statement. I didn't need to. Because silence is a knife when the whole world is watching. You'd think after catching your wife in the act, after standing outside your son's school with the whole damn town watching, it'd be over. But betrayal doesn't just end. It lingers. It crawls into places you didn't know were hollow until the echo shows up. That week, the headlines lit up like Christmas. Every media outlet wanted a piece of the scandal. Everyone had an opinion. Most were vicious, and none were kind to her. They called her things I won't repeat. I didn't defend her, because she earned every syllable. But I wanted more than headlines. I wanted permanence. That's when the idea came to me. Not revenge. Not exactly. Something quieter. Lasting. I reached out to an old college friend, Jonah Clive. He used to be a ghostwriter for washed-up celebrities. Now he freelanced, mostly true crime memoirs and exposés. I told him I had a story. It's personal, I said. It's also public. And it's messy. He met me in a downtown bar, took one look at the dossier I dropped on the table, and whistled low. Is this real? Every word. Just change the names. You know the game. 2 months later, the manuscript was done. Life is a Bitch. The Story of a Hypocrite. The title was mine. The rest, pure venom in narrative form. We changed cities. Masked the profession. Meant just enough truth to avoid a lawsuit, but left enough intact that anyone with eyes could connect the dots. The main character? A socialite influencer named Avery. The kind of woman who donates to animal shelters but cheats on her husband in a church parking lot. It was satire. Memoir. Dark comedy. A slow-motion crash dressed in velvet. And people ate it up. Bloggers shared it. Podcasters dissected it. Book clubs called it a tragic masterpiece and a cautionary tale wrapped in designer sheets. Every chapter bled with things only the people close to us would recognize. But we didn't say it outright. Because we didn't need to. Chapter 5, The First Lie. Chapter 9, The Day the Silk Scarf Slipped. Chapter 12, Feet First. They knew. Sabrina's sister called me. You're disgusting, she hissed. I hung up. Then I mailed her a signed copy. Sabrina tried to respond. She went live on some niche video app. Claimed it was pure fiction, said I was obsessed and emotionally abusive. But she was yelling into a vacuum. Because Jonah had written her better than she'd written herself. His version of her wasn't just accurate, it was true. And truth hits harder when it wears lipstick and spins excuses. She tried to sue. Didn't even make it past discovery. Her own phone records contradicted her claims. Her lawyer backed out within a week. The book stayed on the bestsellers list for 19 days. I didn't promote it. Didn't tour. Didn't do interviews. But I made sure one copy made its way to every private club she used to belong to. The same ones where she once held court, smiling like royalty. Now, they read about how Avery used the family driver for afternoon therapy sessions in the backseat of a bulletproof SUV. Cole never knew about the book, not directly. He was too young. But one day, while we were walking past a bookstore window, he stopped. That looks like Mom, he said, pointing at the cover illustration. I looked. I smiled. It's not her, I said. It's just someone a lot like her. He nodded. Then we kept walking. I didn't write that book to make money. I didn't write it to destroy her. I wrote it to make sure her version never stood alone. Because women like Sabrina always have a backup story. A prettier one. A cleaner one. Where they cry just right and say all the right things and everyone forgets what they actually did. But this time, she couldn't rewrite it. Because I already had. Everything had settled. Quiet, almost. Like the house after a storm, you know there's damage. But for a moment, everything's still. Cole was healing. I was rebuilding. And Sabrina? She'd vanished from headlines. At least until one morning when I opened my inbox and found a message that made my blood run cold. Subject: Manuscript Theft. Urgent. Attached were screenshots from a blog. A woman claiming to be the real author of Life is a Bitch, The Story of a Hypocrite. Saying she'd written a very similar story months before Jonah and I had even outlined our book. Same character names. Same themes. Same chapter titles. It was a twist I hadn't expected. I called Jonah immediately. He answered on the second ring, groggy. What the hell is this? I snapped, forwarding him the email. A pause. Oh, no. He explained everything. He'd hired a junior writer to help with structuring the early drafts. She'd submitted a rough outline. He barely glanced at it. Filed it away. She was now claiming the book was stolen. Worse? She had a Twitter following. And she was already stirring the pot. I need you to fix this, I told him. I will. Give me 24 hours. But 24 hours was too late. That same afternoon, Sabrina re-emerged publicly. She tweeted at the original author. Asterisk, I know exactly how you feel. He steals everything and repackages it for attention. Asterisk. Her followers exploded. Now they had a new narrative. I wasn't just the betrayed husband. I was the villain. The blogosphere lit up. The book's Amazon reviews were suddenly split between praise and accusations of theft. Some influencer with a following of a few million made a whole video titled, Asterisk, exposing the liar behind the bestseller. Asterisk. I knew the only way out was forward. So I went live. Not a long video. No flashy production. Just me. A camera. A statement. I laid it all out, how the idea came to life, how the writing process unfolded, and how Jonah sourced early drafts. I didn't deny the junior writer's input. I gave her credit, offered her a public co-writer status and a profit share. It wasn't about money. It was about integrity. Sabrina tried to jump on it. She posted a teary video, accusing me of manipulating narratives. But it didn't land. Because people knew what she'd done. They hadn't forgotten. The woman we credited, Melissa Grant, sent me a private message. She thanked me. Said she never wanted to take me down. Just wanted acknowledgement. I respected that. I sent her a signed copy of the next print run with a note. Asterisk, your words helped finish the truth. Now they'll help finish the story. Asterisk. But Sabrina wasn't done. The final twist came 2 weeks later. Jonah showed up to my office. Pale. Sweating. We have a problem. What now? There's another book. Already in pre-order. Written by Sabrina. Title. The Prisoner's Husband. My Life Inside a Gold-Plated Cage. A full-length memoir. Covering everything from our marriage to the affair, her version. Only this time, she was naming names. Mine. Mason's. Even Cole. She was burning it all down. She called it her truth. I called my lawyer. He read the manuscript. This is slander, he said. We can crush it. But I paused. Let her release it. Let her scream. Because I had one more move left. See, Sabrina never knew what I kept in the safe. Not money. Not property deeds. Recordings. One in particular, a voice memo. From her. To her lawyer. Sent before our separation. The book is all fiction, okay? But it'll make him look like the controlling one. And I need that, or I'll never get sympathy. That was her voice. Clear. Calculated. I leaked it. Anonymous drop. Attached to a compilation of text messages. Timelines. Photos. The internet turned again. And this time, it didn't just turn, it devoured her. Her book was pulled. Publisher dropped her. Refunds were issued. Every interview canceled. She went dark. Fully. And then came the real twist. An investigator I'd hired months back, digging into Mason, Sabrina, and the money trail, sent me a final file. Turns out, Sabrina had opened an offshore account in my name. Forged my signature. Routed stolen trust funds into it. Wire fraud. Tax evasion. A federal offense. I didn't file it. Yet. But I sent her a copy. With one note. Asterisk, write one more lie. And I write my own chapter with the FBI. Asterisk. She never responded. I never planned on seeing her again. After the fallout from her fake memoir, Sabrina disappeared. Her book was dead. Her accounts wiped. Sponsors gone. And the public? They didn't just cancel her. They deleted her. For a while, I thought that was it. That she'd crawl back to whatever shadows women like her come from. But the thing about liars is they never let go of the stage. They just wait for the curtain to rise again. Cole and I were in a good place. Routine. Peace. I was working on a new project, something real. A mentorship fund for kids without fathers. Nothing public. No press. Just a quiet way to put something back into the world. Then, one evening, I received a knock at the door. A delivery. No return label. Inside, a single white envelope. No letter. No card. Just a USB drive. I stared at it for a long time before plugging it into my laptop. There was only one file. For you. From her. I hit play. It was Sabrina. Not a video. Just her voice. Steady. Cold. I know you think you've won, she began. But I want you to know something. There's one thing you forgot. One thing you never saw coming. She laughed. A short, bitter sound. You trusted Jonah. At first, I thought it was another bluff. Another empty attempt to claw her way back into relevance. But something about her tone, it wasn't desperation. It was confidence. I called Jonah that night. No answer. Next morning, I drove to his apartment. The door was open. Unlocked. Inside, The place had been ransacked. Drawers pulled out. Hard drives missing. Desk overturned. And on the wall, scrawled in red ink, "Check your name, Damon." My lawyer confirmed it 2 days later. Jonah had filed a trademark claim on my name. As the sole brand creator behind Life is a Bitch, he transferred all rights to himself behind my back. He now owned the title, the future rights, the sequel, everything. Turns out, while I was focused on taking Sabrina down, Jonah was writing his own contract, lining it up with Sabrina's fall, waiting. And he wasn't done. He'd sold a streaming deal. Life is a Bitch, the series, written by Jonah Clive, based on characters created in collaboration with Sabrina Vance, her maiden name. They teamed up. It was the perfect lie. They waited for the world to hate her, then turned her into the anti-hero, and turned me into the villain. The new series trailer dropped 3 days later. Stylized, polished, full of smirking monologues and glitzy infidelity. The husband was cold, controlling, cruel. The wife? Complicated, flawed, seductive. The final shot? Her standing on a balcony, glass of wine in hand, voiceover whispering. He thought I was the problem, but I was just the mirror. I could have sued. Maybe I should have. But I had something better. See, Sabrina forgot that I wasn't just documenting her lies. I was filming them. The footage from the school parking lot. From the condo. The recordings of her bragging about faking bruises. The audio where she laughed about using coal for leverage. None of it had been released. Until now. I uploaded everything to a private archive site. Attached timecodes, transcripts, receipts. Then I sent the link to the press. And waited. It didn't take long. The story exploded again. Streaming show based on real lies? Scandal author exposed in new audio leak. Viral series sparks lawsuit threat after real victim speaks out. Sponsors pulled out. Production halted. Sabrina deleted every profile. Jonah issued a statement. Creative license was taken. The damage was done. And the final twist? I bought the rights back. Quietly. Through a shell company. Now, every time that show gets streamed, a cut goes to a foundation named after my mother. She raised me to clean up messes with dignity, even when someone else leaves them behind. Revenge wasn't supposed to be addictive. It was supposed to be clean. One swing of the axe and done. Sabrina was humiliated. Jonah exposed. The streaming deal collapsed. And yet, I couldn't stop looking over my shoulder. Because deep down, I knew the game wasn't finished. Weeks passed quietly. Cole's school year ended with honors. I'd started sleeping again, reading at night. We took a road trip up the coast. For the first time in a long while, I felt normal. Light. Then the envelope showed up. It was hand-delivered. No return address. Inside was a thick manila folder with a single post-it stuck to the front. You missed something. I opened it. It was a court summons. Filed by Sabrina. A final civil suit. She was suing me for mental and emotional sabotage. The audacity. But I wasn't surprised. She couldn't win in court. So she was trying to win in whispers. The document was a mess. Fabricated timelines, twisted versions of events, and cherry-picked screenshots she'd clearly doctored. Her goal wasn't justice. It was distraction. I handed it to my lawyer, who laughed out loud when he saw it. Desperation play, he said. We'll kill it in 2 days. But I didn't want to kill it. I wanted to bury it, deep. So I planned one more play. I called Bennett. Told him I wanted a full digital excavation of Sabrina's accounts, past and present. Emails. Deleted messages. Backups. Any alias she'd used in the last 10 years. It took him 5 days. What he found cracked the whole facade wide open. Turns out, during our marriage, Sabrina had been managing a secret burner account on a dark gossip forum. A hub for influencers, clout chasers, and scandal leakers. She'd been feeding stories about me. Years before the affair. Fake rumors about abuse. Insider leaks on business deals. Financial projections she wasn't even supposed to have. She'd been monetizing me. Turning me into content. The headlines she later cried about? She'd written half of them. The concerned messages from online strangers? What she paid to keep the drama going. That night, I made a decision. No more legal chess. No more controlled silence. I called in a favor from a contact in digital forensics and reputation control. Then I did something Sabrina never thought I would. I told the truth. Every detail. I filmed a 35-minute documentary. Raw. Detailed. Painfully honest. I told the whole story. The lies. The manipulation. The recordings. The secret gossip account. I showed screenshots. Receipts. I played her voice on tape. Then I ended with a single message. Let this be the last story she doesn't get to write. I uploaded it to every platform, and it went viral within 48 hours. But that wasn't the last twist. A journalist reached out. He'd seen the documentary, and he had something I didn't. An anonymous source had sent him a batch of files, financial statements linking Sabrina to an investment firm overseas. That firm? Owned in part by my mother's charity trust. And how did she get in? She'd posed as me. Forged identity. Signed documents using my name. She'd embezzled nearly $300,000 through small withdrawals, rerouted over 3 years. It wasn't just betrayal anymore. It was criminal fraud. And this time, I did file federal charges. The arrest made national news. Sabrina Grayson, former influencer and reality figure, indicted on federal fraud charges. She was taken in handcuffs outside a yoga studio. Mugshot smeared across every screen. Her red lipstick faded. Her eyes stunned. But the revenge didn't stop there. Because I knew exactly what she feared most. Obscurity. So I made sure she got it. I used her name, her old branding, and bought the rights. I turned her defunct website into a nonprofit for financial abuse victims. The tagline? From manipulation to liberation. Learn the signs. Reclaim your voice. Thousands joined. Her name became the cautionary tale. She faded from memory. And I kept walking. There's a silence that comes after justice. Not peace exactly, just stillness. A flat horizon where the storm used to be. Cole and I were good. Better than good. I'd stopped checking headlines. Stopped wondering if her face would show up in some sidebar article. I started focusing on the legacy fund. Speaking at schools. Building something real. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like maybe I could stop writing her name. That was the plan. Until the call came. From a blocked number. I almost didn't answer. Mr. Grayson? A woman's voice said. Calm. Official. This is Detective Rena Alcott. I'm calling about your ex-wife, Sabrina. Everything froze. She's dead. They found her in a hotel bathtub in Miami. Empty bottle of sleeping pills. No signs of struggle. One note. Addressed to me. You took everything. So I left nothing. You win. Enjoy it.